All right, I just got through watching the Who Killed Malcolm X documentary on Netflix. I've seen thousands of documentaries on that. You know, I have my theories of how it went down, and this laid out more facts. But here's my take on that. I think that the two people that went to prison, two of the three people that went to prison for that murder were innocent. Khalil Islam and the other brother, Shabazz something, I forget his name. Um, I think that the NYPD, New York City Police Department, had just expected to just go down there and just investigate a murder scene. So, but by the time they got there, Talmadge Hare, who was one of the killers, had been shot. And so they had no choice but to lock him up. I think that's as far as the New York Police Department. What? I, the New York City Police Department was in on that conspiracy to kill him. I think they knew that Malcolm was going to be killed that day, and I think they already had their people who they were going to arrest, try and convict already picked out, which the Nation of Islam provided not only the sacrificial lambs, but the shooters themselves. I think the state of New Jersey as well knew what was going to happen and provided safe haven for the killers, keep them from getting prosecuted in New York. You know, so that's my personal take on it. And I think that the Nation of Islam may have made a deal with the government to keep the organization from getting destroyed. You know, Elijah Muhammad. I'm going to say this. Minister Farrakhan had nothing to do with that murder. Nothing. He didn't lose any sleep over it. He definitely didn't lose any sleep over it. And none of those members back then that were true followers, not true, members of the Nation of Islam back then that stayed with Elijah, none of them lost any sleep over that murder. And a lot of them felt, and a lot of them that are still alive to this day still feel, you know, like he had what he had coming. You know, that's their religion and their beef. But I think it's just bigger. The murder itself was bigger than just a fight amongst a religious organization. You know. Now, me personally, I admire Minister Louis Farrakhan and always have since I was a teenager. You know, I think that his words about black folks doing for self, creating our own economy, getting some type of political independence, and actually, you know, he calls for black folks to vote too. He has been since the first Million Man March in the 90s, you know. There are a lot of things that he says that I disagree with. But as far as being good husbands to your wives and good fathers to your children and being active and trying to be positive to people who look like you and educating people who look like you, I have no problem with that. I think that when Malcolm was killed, I think Minister Farrakhan was young and extremely loyal, but was he part of that conspiracy? Hell no. 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 I don't like it when people say that, and I find it very funny that when he started to get real popular and started to get a lot of mainstream focus in the late 80s and early 90s. Then all of a sudden, mainstream media and stuff start bringing up that murder of Malcolm X. And at the time when he got killed, let's tell the truth and shame the devil. Shit, white folks cheered that murder. They cheered it. They didn't lose any sleep over it, and they were glad that he was gone. So why would you start bringing up the murder fast forward 25, 30 years later, once the man that he knew started to rise up or whatever and get noticed? Because y'all wanted to try to put some water on that fire that he was brewing. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword. And even now, and that's a good documentary too. That's a real good documentary. You know, dude, he was a little bit too late in being able to interview William Bradley. William Bradley's dead now. I think maybe the guy probably should have went a little bit further. Maybe he could continue his documentary series, because I think them other guys are still alive. One of the guys, now Thomas Harris and the other two of the people that went to prison are still alive. So I think some of the other shooters are still alive as well. So track them down. Thomas Harris then gave their names, you know, track them down. And let's see, you know, number one, why would you do something like that? And number two, who ordered it? So I'm not really a big conspiracy guy. I'm deep into Black history and stuff like that, and not just, you know, leaders that was picked out for us, me coming out of the American public school system, not just leaders or whatever that they tell you in the textbooks, but, you know, looking at stuff on my own. So I don't know, I think I got 100-something people on my page. I appreciate that. You know, hit me back, you know, what's your thoughts if you watch this. If you watched that Malcolm X documentary on Netflix, and see what are your thoughts. Let's keep the comments cordial. Please, no racist comments. I would prefer no profanity. And hit me back.